We have this from NBC News. Ladies and gentlemen, this is major breaking news. This is historic. Julian Assange has reached a plea deal with the U.S., allowing him to go free. The WikiLeaks founder has been held in a prison outside of London for the last 5 years and fought extradition to the United States. He's expected to return to Australia. I don't want to waste time. I believe the Biden administration has reached a deal with him, terrified that if Donald Trump becomes president and Julian Assange is still stuck at the behest of the U.S., Trump will get leverage through WikiLeaks information against U.S. intelligence and the Biden administration and other Democrats. That is to say, there's a long story here. But Julian Assange has access to information which is very damaging to the establishment political class in this country, which is Democrats and Republicans. And Donald Trump has been trying to get it. And he tried to get it in his first term and he couldn't. I believe the Biden DOJ cut a deal with Assange so that Trump would not be able to in the event Democrats actually end up losing in November. Let's read. NBC says, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange plans to plead guilty to a conspiracy charge this week as part of a plea deal with the U.S. DOJ that will allow him to go free. Assange was charged by criminal information, which typically signifies a plea deal, with conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information, the documents say. A letter from DOJ official Matthew McKenzie to U.S. Judge Ramona Manglona of the U.S. District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands said that Assange would appear in court at 9 a.m. local time on Wednesday to plead guilty, and said that the DOJ expects Assange will return to Australia, his country of citizenship, after the proceedings. U.S. charges against Assange stem from one of the largest publications of classified information in American history, which took place during the term of Barack Obama, starting in late 2009, according to the government. Assange conspired with Chelsea Manning, a military intelligence analyst, to disclose tens of thousands of activity reports about the war in Afghanistan, hundreds of thousands of reports about the war in Iraq, hundreds of thousands of State Department cables, and assessment briefs of Guantanamo Bay detainees using his WikiLeaks website. Now, I don't believe the U.S. government, but let me go to the beginning of this. So for those that aren't familiar with what's going on, I can bring this into modern politics so you understand. Julian Assange is at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. He was being threatened with arrest over some ridiculous bunk claim about assaulting some women, which never happened. And I don't even know if it was assault. It was like, I don't want to get too crass, but a condom broke. The women went to the police and said, can we get him tested? They said, aha, we're going to go get him now. They wanted to extradite him to Sweden. So he was in London, I believe he was on house arrest. He went to the Ecuadorian embassy seeking asylum, and they granted to him. He was trapped in the Ecuadorian embassy for, I think it was, 7 years? Might have been longer.
I think it was 7. I know he had
7.
2 kids during that time.
Right. So what happens is, under the Trump administration, Assange was pulled from the embassy and taken to prison. Here's the conspiracy theory. And it is. I mean, I think there's reason to believe this may be the case. There are sources. I've investigated a bit of the story. I don't have a lot of crazy information or anything, but I've talked with certain people. It would seem Julian Assange made a statement in an interview about Seth Rich. There were emails that were leaked to WikiLeaks from the DNC and the DCCC, their Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. And these emails were pretty damning. Everybody on the right believed Seth Rich, who worked for the DNC, had leaked these emails by downloading them, handing them off to an associate of WikiLeaks, who then gave them to WikiLeaks. There's an individual who has claimed he received these emails via USB. The media reported the emails were hacked by the Russians. Well, Donald Trump wanted to know what happened. And there's only one person who can tell you, and it's going to be Julian Assange. So the theory goes, and this is rumor and scuttlebutt, that Trump held a meeting, dispatched some of his confidants to meet with Julian Assange, and made him a deal. Come to the U.S., provide the evidence and testimony against the Democrats, and you're a free man. Julian Assange said no, because he will not compromise his values and the WikiLeaks organization and sacrifice the source of the information, who will certainly die, or, assuming they didn't already, it'll cause serious harm to the individual's family. When Julian Assange refused this, rumor is, again, just rumor, that Trump team said, then we're going to bring him to the U.S. by force. And that's what they were trying to do. I don't know if any of that is true. I have spoken with some people about the issue, and it seems like it's possible based on the things I've heard. Now, when I hear this, assuming that is the case, and I will stress again, maybe it's all garbage, Joe Biden is concerned, the DOJ, it's not even really Biden, it's the deep state, that if Trump wins in November, he will be able to extradite Julian Assange to the U.S., who is currently facing charges, and he will get Julian Assange to give him the information he wants.